Hi there, I'm Cameron Smarts, and we're here to do an interview with Catherine Spurdy, who's a professor, and she also knows a great deal about WSIAT, and she's going to help us with the project. This is my colleague, Jessica England. Everyone say hi. So Catherine, you've been our professor now. You're very knowledgeable, and we wanted to know if you could give us some insights into this field. First off, what is the purpose of WSIATs for you personally? How do you feel about the whole experience?
For me, how come I got involved with WSIAT? I am an injured worker. I was injured while employed as a school photographer. So I have been on that side of the WSIAT and WSIB, and that is my experience as an injured worker, going through the whole program, LMR, labor market reentry, into being retrained is the reason why I chose to practice in the workplace safety area.
So before then, there was no aspirations?
No, I didn't even know what a paralegal was.
Did you feel unfulfilled by your own, how you were treated and you needed to?
Yeah, actually, it's very difficult being on the other side. A lot of people think that it's cash for life. You get injured and you're not going to have to work, and so it's difficult. It is a long fight. I've been on that side of the table, so that's why I chose to represent people.
Awesome, thank you. And I guess, what do you think the purpose of this is? Is it just profession for you? Is it something?
For me,
what is it evolved into?
it's a passion, I guess now.
Passion.
Yeah, when I find someone who has been injured at work, and because of all the changes at WSIB being so far in debt, everybody's being cut off, changes in the labor market reentry program, I know I can help people.
Absolutely.
So that's the reason why I chose it.
And did that kind of lead into your teaching?
No, I've always been a teacher. I have my ECE from previous years.
Oh.
So I always taught little kids. So I just decided to morph that into a different profession.
What's easier, little kids or us?
I'm sorry, I like the little kids. I'll be honest. Children are awesome.
Nice. Well, Jess, would you like to
Okay.
questions?
How has your experience been in the WSIAT?
So we call it the WSIAT. So no, not many people actually say WSIAT.
WSIAT, that's
the
easier.
WSIAT.
The WSIAT.
Yeah, just the WSIAT, which stands for the Workplace Safety and Insurance Appeals Tribunal. So I have been through all aspects. I've appeared at the tribunal on a number of times, various locations too, anywhere from Kingston to Toronto. The tribunal moves, so that's kind of convenient. You don't always have to travel into Toronto. My experience, I've had good experiences and I've had bad experiences. I've had decisions where I cried when I got the decision because I truly thought that there was an error in judgment. So some of them that I've won.
So have you noticed these changes over the year? Any
Yes.
major changes?
There's been a lot of denials at WSIB. So a lot more people who are being denied even for initial entitlement, so finding that their injury is not actually a compensable workplace injury, which of course causes the appeals to go up. So the appeals branch has been extremely backlogged with appeals, which means that it takes longer to get there. They used to have an appeals branch that you had a decision within 60 days. This is at the appeals branch, not the tribunal. Now it takes forever. And then you apply to the tribunal, it takes almost a year before you get a hearing date. And then you get your hearing date, it's 11 months away. It can take 2 years to get there. So once you finally get there, it's a long process.
Do any particular cases come to mind?
Being a long process, or ones that are my
Anything
favorite
you'd
to
like to
win?
talk about? Any ones
My
that really
favorite
stand
case
out?
is a lady who was injured for 12 years, one of those long cases. She was highlighting for 2 days. And you think, how do you highlight for 2 days and get a neck injury that stops you from working forever? But I won it, and she got over $100,000 for highlighting for 2 days.
Wow.
That's my favorite case.
That's your claim to fame.
That is my claim to fame. Everybody thought that she was just, faking it and joking and was trying to be a comp junkie, but no, I got her lots of money.
There you go. Alrighty.
Any other questions?
We're going to leave some for our friends over here.
Okay.
So a brief intermission, we're going to switch it up.
My name is Vanessa Uragovai, and along with
Mindy Wagner.
Yeah, we'll continue the interview. Mrs. Purdy, in your experience, do individuals seem satisfied with the process? Like, are they satisfied with the level of the procedures fairness they receive at the tribunal?
Most of my clients are very upset about how long it takes to get to the tribunal. And said it, with the amount of appeals, they've called it the tsunami of appeals. It takes a long, long time. It can take up to 3 years to get to the tribunal. So that level, for the most times, they feel like they've been heard and they feel justified that way. But for the length of time it takes to get to the hearing, the tribunal, and then to receive a decision. I had a hearing last October 2013. I still have not received a decision for it yet.
Over a year.
Yeah.
Okay, and would you recommend future paralegals such as us to work in WSIAT?
It's not an easy job. There's a lot of hand-holding, and I think sometimes paralegals don't want to be bothered with that because it's a very busy job, but there's times that you have to sit down and you can't think about anything but just listening to the client. So there is a lot of hand-holding. It's a lot of work. It's not a 9-to-5 job, truthfully, because your clients are thinking all the time about their injury because they're in pain.
Mm-hmm.
So I get phone calls, text messages, 24 hours, 7 days a week. So it's not that type of job. It's not a type of job where there's a lot of cash in hand. So a lot of paralegals don't want to do it because injured workers don't have money. So they can't pay high retainers for paralegals. So most times we work on contingency fee, and if you don't win, you don't get paid. So it's you have to think about that type of, are you ready to make that commitment?
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you. And if you could you walk us through the steps in the proceedings? How does it usually start?
Okay, so you start with the date of accident. WSIB is a lot of acronyms too, so I'll try and stay. If I say an acronym, please just ask me to clarify it.
Mm-hmm.
So you get what's your date of injury, and from there you make your claim. There's 3 forms that you have to fill out: Form 6, Form 7, Form 8. One is from the employer, one is from the employee, and one is from the doctor. That establishes your claim. From there, the case manager decides whether or not you are deemed injured at work, because you might have fainted at work, but that doesn't, and you might have banged your head on the table, but that doesn't mean that the employer should be responsible for that because it's not their fault that you fainted, right? Mm-hmm. So you have to find out if you get initial entitlement. From there, you ask for your benefits. The case manager makes a decision. You have 6 months from the date of that decision to appeal it. From there you appeal. There's what's called an appeals readiness form. You fill that out. You do your submission. Most of them are done in writing now. Before WSIB and the WSIAT used to have a lot of oral hearings, but because they're so busy, they're doing a lot of written submissions now. So you can do that in a written submission. The ARO, which is the Appeals Resolution Officer, makes his decision, sends it back to you. If it's a favorable decision, then it goes back to the board, they implement it. If it's an unfavorable decision, then you have to appeal to the tribunal. And then there's different sets of applications that you have to fill out. Your 6-month timeline to appeal to the tribunal. Once you get that in there, they decide whether or not you're ready to proceed, and if it's going to be a written or an oral hearing, you wait for your date.
That's one of the other questions I was going to ask, is what formats of hearings are available.
So yeah, a lot of, like I said, there used to be a lot of oral hearings, but because of time crunches and streamlining things, it seems to be they're doing a lot more written submissions.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I just wanted to know, is there anything about the WSIAT WSIAT process that you would change? Are there any spots that could improve?
That could improve, definitely timing. I've had a gentleman who got injured at work, was denied initial entitlement, lost his house because he didn't have any money, lost his wife, she left him. Children's Aid stepped in and took the kids because they were living in a car. He lost everything. And it took 3 years to get to the tribunal, when the tribunal finally said, oh yeah, we believe you have initial entitlement. You should have full everything. But by that time, he lost everything. His house, his wife, and his boys.
So in order to apply to the WSIAT, are there any rules?
Lots of rules.
There's lots of.
Lots of rules. So when you get your decision from the ARO, the Appeals Resolution Officer, you have 6 months to appeal to the WSIAT. There's quite a few documents that you have to fill out. You gotta get signatures by both the representative and the injured worker. So there is timelines, getting stuff in there, filling out the paperwork, practice directions. Mhm.